Hello, welcome back to the channel Up the Reds TV with me, Andy. So please like, please share and please subscribe to this video if you haven't already done so. I would really appreciate that. So this one is the post-match of Liverpool 3, Liverpool 0, I wish it was 3, Liverpool 0, Crystal Palace 3. Ismail Sarr scored in the 41st minute and the 45th in the first half, and Pino scored on the 88th, 2 minutes from the end, for the scoreline to be that. So Glasner, he said, when you win at Anfield, it's a very good night. And yes, it was a very good night for Crystal Palace because they had the stronger team. Now, I just want to... You already know what the team is, okay, but I just want to give you my perspective on the team that was put out yesterday, and I'll discuss the game with you as well. Woodman, 28, Ramsey, 22, Endo, 32. This is the age, not the shirt numbers. Gomez, 28, Robertson, 31, Kirkes, 21, Ungamoa, 17, Morrison, 18, McAllister, 26, Naoni, 18, and Chiesa, 28. On the subs bench, Kone Doherty, 19, Nallo, 18, Wellerty Lucky, 19, K Gordon, 21, Pesky, the goalkeeper, 20, Laffy, 20, Figueroa, 19, Pinnington, 18, and finally Pilling, 21. So those subs came onto the pitch. Gordon for Morrison, Konadoti for Ungamoa, Nallo for McAllister, Wellerty Lucky for Robertson. Arne Slot, on paper, looked like a 3-4-3, but it was probably more of a 5-2-3 when I was watching the game from the Cop yesterday. So that's just the bit about the team there. Just want to mention something you might not be interested in, but some of you may. If you notice, I normally tweet out the team that starts an hour before the game kicks off. But I only live 53 miles away from Liverpool, so it's probably about just over an hour, just maybe over an hour. It depends on the traffic. Serious accident on the M6 because I normally get off. I get onto the M55 and onto the M6, then get off at junction 26, M58, and then go down the A59 into through that way into Anfield, and I normally park in my normal car parking space. However, because of that accident and because the motorway was shut, standstill traffic, it took me 4 hours to get to Anfield. I left at 3 o'clock. I parked my car 2 miles away on the opposite side of where I normally park of the stadia. Paid the I don't know who they were, Afghanistan's or Turkish, whatever, my £10 to look after my car because I've never parked in that area before, and I think the last time I did paid parking at Anfield or around Anfield, it was probably about 15 years ago, and I paid a £5 then, so £10, not too bad, I suppose. And then it was a 2.5 mile trek up to the stadia. So I tell you what, I know one thing's for sure: the motorway network around the northwest of England is absolutely utter shite. When there's an accident, it really is. No way of getting around certain. I tried 3 different ways to get out of there, and I was just met with constant backlog. Everybody had the same idea. So there you go. There's a bit of why I didn't do my normal posting out the team news or even a picture of me outside with the Liverbird behind me. So get out the car. As I say, I've paid my tenner and I'm walking towards the stadium. It's drizzling heavy, if you can say that. Take my phone out to have a look at the team. And I look at the subs bench, and when a team sheet comes out for Liverpool, I'm more in favour of that team getting a result than I am not getting a result. And when I saw that lineup, it's probably the first time I'm walking up to Anfield thinking we're going to lose this with that lineup, and certainly with the substitutions that we've got, because there is nothing that's going to come on off that bench to win us the game if we are behind or we need to get a goal. Nothing at all. But I'm here, so I'm going to get behind the Reds, as I always do. Got my ticket for the Cup. So I get into the Cup just as the teams are coming out, and majority I spoke to as I was heading into the Cup, they were all hoping for a shock result for Liverpool winning. But I think deep down we're all in agreement that we would not win this game, as Palace had decided to go strong, and they did go strong. And the bonus for me, and I mentioned it at the last game I was at, which was the Southampton game, and because it was a League Cup game, the amount of locals that were in the Cup, the youngsters who would not normally get a ticket, as I mentioned before, for league games and for Champions League games, and they were in full voice, and we were getting behind the team when we were 1-0 down, when we were 2-0 down, and when we were 3-0 down. You heard us singing "You'll Never Walk Alone." We got behind the team. It was not the team's fault that they lost that game 3-0. Look, I thought they did really well before they conceded the goal on 41 minutes. So I could talk about the play. Well, I will talk about the players, actually. And as I say, do not be thinking that this is the fault of the youngsters. Few of them played in the mini Merseyside derby at the weekend. Was it on the Saturday or the Sunday? I can't remember now. I watched the game, and then they were thrust into the limelight by Arne Slot, who knew exactly what he was doing when he picked that team. So I've already said what Glasner's said. Arne Slot, post-match press conference, was asked on his disappointment at the result and whether he has any regrets over his team selection. This is his reply. "I think at this moment in time, with only 15 or 16 players available, and I am talking about the players of our squad available, and to add to this, club has always used this competition to use academy players as well. The non-starters and the academy players, it felt to me as the right decision, and I haven't changed my opinion about that after the result, because without starters, we haven't been able to win a lot from Palace as well." He was asked more pressure for Saturday's fixture with Aston Villa, having rested several senior players. This was his response. "I don't think it's possible if you lose 6 out of 7 that there is even more pressure. If you are on a run of results like this, if you manage Liverpool, you know the pressure is there. I don't think it has changed much after this loss." So he also then added, "The most positive thing about tonight was the position we were in, 2-0 down, and we weren't really pushing for a goal because we weren't able to. The fans were behind the team and supporting us. That gives me a feeling on Saturday, when our players will show how much it means to them, our fans will be incredibly supportive for us on Saturday. Again, we face a team that has rested in the week to play us, and that's Villa." So, let me talk about the game and Arne Slot's comment, shall I? I thought the young lads started the game okay. They weren't giving too much away. Yes, it was a new formation that Arne Slot was playing, and he probably had that in mind to play against Villa on Saturday. And with the majority of the players sat behind him, first teamers, I could see what he was trying to do in this game. Let's not beat about the bush here. Arne Slot knew exactly what he was doing when he picked this team. This team were not going to win the game, and it wasn't the team's fault. Any blame should lie with the team selection and who picks that team. As head coach, he's not a manager. Everybody's calling him a manager. He's not a manager, he's a head coach. It's his job to get things right on the training field and to implement them on match days. And to me, I have no idea how long he spent with this team that he picked on the training pitch before the game last night. Excuse me. So there is an end blame for everything in life, and he has to take this one. There were, the support from the stands was there for the young team, and they were a very, very young team. Now, the disappointing thing for me was the bench. There were no senior players who are underperforming, let's get that right, week in and week out for the past month, and there were none there. That is not a good look to throw a game, because that's what happened. Me as a manager, I would never throw a game. We are Liverpool Football Club, and he shouldn't have done that. You're probably saying, but Jurgen Klopp used to pick the youngsters. Yeah, but when he picked the youngsters, they fought, didn't they? They really fought. I mean, they got results. The only bad result they ever got was in the Carabao Cup against Villa away when they lost 5-0. But if you remember that the Liverpool team were flying off for the World Club Cup, which incidentally they won 1-0, and was it back in December or something? Because remember they played Leicester when they came back from that, didn't they? So yeah, that bench was full of under-18s players, say under-21s. Majority of them would be playing for under-18s because of the age group. Yes, they do play for the under-21s, and yeah. So yeah, it's the first time, as I said, I've gone into Anfield knowing I'm getting behind the boys to feel like that we've lost the game, and majority of us thought that. But we sang, and we made sure that the lads were, getting the support from the stands, and they certainly did that. So let me go through. Woodman, the goalkeeper, 28. If Arne Slot was thinking about just playing the youngsters, he should have played young Peksky, the 20-year-old Hungarian keeper. Woodman, his kicking was awful. He's a senior player because he's 28. I don't think one pass of his from a long kick went to one of our players when he kicked it off the floor. He made a couple of basic saves. Nothing he could do about the goals because they were good finishes. I thought Calvin Ramsey had a good game. We hadn't seen him for 3 years, but tell you what, he did really, really well. he did well in the Merseyside derby. He had a good, and he scored there as well. Okay, it was against 10-man Everton, but he had a really good game, and I thought, there you go. And obviously took him off on 16. There was talk that he was going to start in this game. I wasn't 100% sure with me talking about I want a strong team to play in this game. Have I been vindicated? Yes and no. You know, I don't. It's just you just knew. Endo 32 played in the back three with Gomez and Robbo. Didn't have a good game because he's coming cold. Last time he had an outing was at Southampton. Properly. Joe Gomez had a poor game really in that back three. Was in hand for 2 of the goals. First one, not clearing his lines properly. Second one, playing a suicidal ball straight down the middle when Naoni's got his back. He doesn't know who's behind him. He gets robbed and they score to make it 3-0. Robbo's meant to be a leader. There was nothing led by Robbo there. Although we were chanting his name, 31. You can tell his legs have gone. He got outrun 2 or 3 times. Kirkes, a bit of an indifferent game, but he tried to get stuck in. He only came alive in the last 10 minutes because he had a good partnership down there from Kone Doherty, who was getting involved, which was really good. He knew when he was making the moves. He was picking out Kirkes, and Kirkes obviously had that cross in the second half where Kay Gordon just headed it over the bar. So yeah, and McAllister, nothing really again from him. He's so slow. Whatever injuries he's had that's kept him out of pre-season, he's knocked him away because they can easily get past him with pace-wise. Once you are away from McAllister, he's not going to catch you. Naoni, 18, playing with McAllister, he didn't want the ball. For some reason, he wasn't showing for the ball. First half, second half, just disappeared. Young, Kieran Morrison. If you're ever going to kill a player that young, you don't put him in a game like this. Not against a well-oiled machine as Crystal Palace are. I think the occasion got to him. 60,000 people in the stadium. He was lost. But that isn't his fault. He was chosen to play the game, but he wasn't ready to make the mark, the step up. No matter what he's doing in the under-21s, when you get moved from under-18s, under-21s football to senior football, it is men's football. It's not boys' football, not youth team football. It is men's football. And as I said, he was lost in the headlights. And it's not his fault. Ungamoa, I mentioned about Ungamoa before that I don't want him to become a one-trick pony. You've heard me say that before about him. And again, he had one shot in the first half, but he was just doing the same things where he could have done things better. Now, he is training with the first team day in and day out, week in and week out. But he mustn't be picking anything from them because it was the same old thing and Crystal Palace, had him sorted. Chiesa, he just ran, didn't he? Trying to do the best for the team, trying to get involved, enthusiastic when passes weren't coming to him, clapping the youngsters, good try, well done. Second half, he got himself booked. How many times Hughes was fouling our players before he saw a yellow card, and yet the ref was quick to give yellow cards to the Liverpool players. So yeah, Coney Doty came on, didn't he? As I said, from Gamoa, and I thought he was really bright, really good. Kay Gordon came on for Morrison, and again Kay Gordon was good, getting involved, trying to get as many touches. And remember, these players are coming off the bench to try and change the game, but the game was already lost at 2-0. Nello comes on for McAllister. Nello gets sent off for the second time in his senior Liverpool appearance, and he got a bouncy ball, tried to play a first time pass, lost it. Ball was played behind him. He's chasing, takes the player down, red card. I heard Slot say that Virgil van Dijk went down the tunnel to him to have a word, because he was asked if he had a word with him. He said no, he doesn't need to say anything because Virgil's gone down. So, Wellity Lucky, another youngster, on for Robbo. Robbo went off, didn't he, earlier on second half. Tells me that he's going to start against Aston Villa. So it looks like he might be playing a back three. So, as I said, Arne Slot, played a 3-4-3, but it was more likely a 5-2-3. And it's going to be interesting what he plays against Aston Villa. So let's not blame the players for this result. You got to firmly blame the head coach, because that's what he is. He's not getting the tune out of his first team squad, so he rested him. He's saying that they're picking up injuries, but they're picking up injuries in the Saturday games, not the midweek games. And yes, I was disappointed with him. Do I want him out? No, because he needs time to get it sorted out. Because I've said before, we don't want to be Chelsea's, we don't want to be Manchester United's, getting rid of the managers. We don't want to be like other teams. But I had an interesting conversation with somebody on my way out after the game, when we sang and clapped the youngsters off, that he feels that Edwards and Hughes and co, including the hierarchy at FSG, will be looking over the parapet now to see who's available or what. I thought that was an interesting thing to say, but I wasn't sticking up for Slot. I just thought, you can't be doing things like this. And one of the reasons I say that is that youngsters get tickets to go and watch the cup games, and they want to be entertained. They do not want to be shown players from the under-18s, under-21s teams. If they want to watch those players, they can watch them on LFC TV for £4.99. What they want to do is see the heroes. And there were no heroes today. Although there were players that had won the league last season and were involved. Robbo, McAllister, and such like. But they want to watch the heroes. Now, he said in his statement that he knows that the fans will give the first team the same support that the team received last night. So what does that mean? If we're losing, we're giving the team the same support, which we will be doing, because that's who we are. But is he trying to say to me, oh, it's fine, Andy, if we're losing, we know that you're going to be singing from the stands to G up the team. So yeah, that's my view. on a very, very disappointing way to get out of a cup competition. And I think Slot should think about the people that work very hard during the week, and I'm not talking about the footballers here, I'm talking about the paying public, the supporters who work hard, pay the money, travel long distances if they're not local, with a lot of money being spent to get a ticket, accommodation, travel, petrol, whatever, flights, and you put a team out like that. You know, you shouldn't be selling tickets for £29 plus, and hospitality, 60,000 people there. If you're going to do that, charge £10 for a game like that, because that is not acceptable. And I'm having a go at Liverpool Football Club here, by the way, as well as Arne Slot. You can't allow your head coach to be doing something like that and not expect any repercussions from the stands. Obviously, it went mental on social media, on the phone-ins, on the way home. So yeah, I put a tweet out. It was shameful to put a team out like that and sort of like hang the youngsters out to dry, because that's what it felt for me. It really did. So yeah, that's enough from me on this one. Yeah, it's a bit of a sombre one. I'm going to do a Aston Villa preview, who incidentally have they won the last 6 of the 7 games. So it's a massive game. It is a massive game, not just for the players, because there is going to be no excuses for the players. They've had nearly 6 days training and resting. They need to be coming out from the first whistle. So yeah, I'll do my preview tomorrow. It'll be out at 7. I said this was going to be out at 2 o'clock. Apologies, it's 2:15 now. So I will get this out as soon as I can. And again, please like, please share, and please subscribe and support this channel if you're not doing. And please leave a comment. I must be doing things right if I'm hardly getting any comments. So, or you just don't want to send me comments, but you give me your thoughts. Have I analysed this for you as best I could? And do you think it is really important now, because we've lost 2 games, back-to-back games at Anfield, that we need to beat Aston Villa on Saturday, which I've got a ticket to go to, by the way. Okay, enough from me. As I said, give me your thoughts in the comments. Up the Reds.